Well, Riddick came out by itself this weekend.
Yeah.
So this was going to be a really lonely video, but you were insisting I do more movies with it. So, foolishly, I said, why not just do the trilogy?
You could have scrambled to find something online we could have talked about.
Because here's the thing. I have nothing against Vin Diesel.
No, I don't either.
He's not the bad actor everybody thinks he is. And he seems like, like the nicest dude of all time in real life. Like he was on Kimmel over the week, and he was on Craig Ferguson last night promoting this. And he's like the cool guy you'd hang out with at a cookout.
Interesting way to put it.
And he's got a great resume.
Yeah, very much so.
And he's very passionate about these movies. So much that he was actually telling Craig Ferguson about how they had trouble getting this new one made because of budget purposes, because they spent so much money on Chronicles. Basically, I'm sure it's not the complete reason, but he half joking, half serious said basically to get Riddick made is why he's done so many Fast and Furious movies.
Wow.
Yeah, when those movies are on the opposite sides of quality.
No.
So yeah, I'm saying all this so I can tell you up front, I don't like these movies, and I never liked them.
No, neither do I.
I only watched the first two again for this purpose.
Yes.
I had initially never intended on seeing them again when I first saw them years ago.
Yeah.
I saw Chronicles when it came out on DVD, and I saw Pitch Black a little before that. That was back when I didn't know they were related. I had assumed Pitch Black was some horror movie, which it is. And but regardless, we're just gonna go quickly. I hope this is a short video. If it's not,
you may see him literally fall asleep and fall over dead on camera right now.
Yeah, I haven't slept, which isn't helping this at all.
No caffeine, no nothing. I can go bring you something if you'd like.
We're just gonna run on
fumes.
Whatever this produces.
Okay.
We're gonna start with Pitch Black. Obviously things have changed as far as the way Pitch Black is marketed.
Yeah, it's even called the Chronicles of Riddick Pitch Black now.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, if I remember, I could be wrong, but if I really remember correctly, when it first came out, Rodham Mitchell was first credited.
Yes.
It was the black and the silver, or whatever the fuck that poster was. And nowadays, the DVD covers are all his face, and it says Vin Diesel above the title, because nobody cares about Rodham Mitchell anymore.
No.
And for good reason, because thinking back on it, she's never been that great of an actress.
No.
Even in something where she really had a shot to show off, like in Phone Booth or something, or Feast of Love. She's just not... I'm just not into her acting. And this might sound like I'm overdoing it, or... I don't know what the word is, but... Rodham Mitchell in Pitch Black might be one of the worst performances in movie history.
She has 4 middle names. Yeah. Her name is Radha Rani Amber Indigo Ananda Mitchell.
It takes longer to say her name than the... Oh, fuck. I fucked it up. Fuck.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Try this insult again, even though I've totally failed it now.
It's alright.
You spend more time saying her full name than she spent in acting school.
There we go. I like that.
It's already fucked, though. She wins. So basically, this movie's 13 years old. Everybody knows what it's about. But like I said, the rules of reviewing say you gotta fucking say what the plot is. Okay. We'll say I'm telling you because you said you don't even remember this movie.
I've never seen this movie.
they're on a ship, and they have Riddick, who is a criminal, of course. Cole Hauser. You know you got a gravy on your hands when fucking Cole Hauser's in it. The breakup notwithstanding. And so they have him chained, and Cole Hauser is this bounty hunter posing as a cop, basically. And they go through like a rogue comet, I think, and then they crash on this planet. And it just so happens by coincidence that this planet has 3 suns. So it's always fucking daylight. But it also just so happens that there's going to be an eclipse, and they're going to go into darkness for like 22 years or something. And it just so happens that these creatures, these winged creatures that eat people, live on this planet, and they can only come out when it's dark.
Okay.
Go figure.
Fair enough.
Go figure even more, the convict, Riddick, that they have stashed away on the ship, can see in the dark because of a surgical operation he had, so he can see in prison. See in the dark in prison so he wasn't attacked. A whole bunch of conveniences going on all at once here.
Yeah.
So I would also like to say, to kind of take some shade off of Rodda Mitchell, there's a character named Owens, who is the co-pilot. This guy is a disease in the acting world as well. He is in the movie for about 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, will somebody fucking kill this guy? Well, sure enough, when they crash on the planet, he gets impaled. I was like, fuck yes. Thank you, that was a blessing from God. But nope, on the thing he's impaled on, he's still alive. And they're just going to... They were nice enough to kill him early, but they make him as annoying as possible on his way out. But he does finally die. So that's all good.
Yeah.
So naturally, Riddick escapes, like, 3 times. That's all this movie is people die, Riddick escapes, they catch Riddick, they chain him back up. Riddick escapes again, more people die, and it's just this ongoing chain forever. Of course, they think Riddick's the one killing people. Of course. Well, through some very dated effects, I know it's, you know, oh, they don't have the effects we have today, it was 13 years ago, whatever. Anything post The Matrix, which is what Pitch Black was, it was literally the year after, really doesn't have an excuse for having as shitty effects as it does.
Good point.
I'm not just saying this from the standpoint of seeing movies nowadays, because effects are still shitty today, more so than they're good, really.
Yeah.
So, for the first half of the movie, it's kind of annoying, because with the way the suns are, the whole movie is in this weird blue tint, and it's hard on the eyes. And I don't know what, all 3 of these were written and directed by David Twohy, who did, a great movie called A Perfect Getaway that pretty much nobody saw. But he also has writing credits like The Fugitive at G.I. Jane.
Yeah.
I'm going to say as far as directing is concerned, A Perfect Getaway was a fluke, because this guy has no idea what the fuck he's doing behind a camera.
No.
It's hard to tell, like, what's happening a lot of the time, and it just looks really messy, and it's...
Like a film school student put it together.
An experienced director whose mind is still in film school, we'll say that.
Okay, that's fair.
But actually, surprising, given its, like, popularity and how big it was. I don't know how big it was. It's kind of a cult movie now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, what was going on, but a lot of it has the look of a straight-to-video movie. It'd be straight-to-DVD now. Back then, it would have been straight-to-video.
It only made $53 million.
I can't.
So it beat its budget by $30 million.
Yeah, lining that up with, like ticket prices in 2000 and today, it's kind of hard to tell what was good. I have no idea what's considered good box office today.
It was a sleeper hit, is what it says, and then you talk about the cult following, and it's listed here, too.
Which is how they got to say, we'll get to that soon enough.
Yes.
But, the characters just have no... There's no depth at all. Like,
no.
They don't even try. I mean, I get on a movie's case if it tries and just doesn't succeed at all. I gotta be honest, I don't know what I would recommend. Like, if I had to choose between seeing a movie with characters with no depth at all, or a movie that tries to give characters depth and it just fail horribly and make it embarrassing, I don't know which one I'd take.
I don't know which one's the lesser of two evils.
And it's just a really boring and redundant. It's one of those Band of Survivors movies, and it's just an ongoing thing of the same thing until the end. You have your really, really cliche shit where he's... The whole movie, they're trying to, I guess they think they're doing some kind of psychological thing. You don't know whether Riddick's a good guy or a bad guy. So he does this thing where they all go, like, in this cave, and then he traps them with a rock. And it's one of those rocks where it's, you roll it over the passage where the hole is, and somehow it conveniently completely fits like a puzzle piece. But regardless, he does the thing where he goes, and then he does the turn, and he's like, I am changing my ways, I must go save them. Fuck off.
Only thing missing from the, movie is the Terminator score.
Yeah, I saw something really, really funny. I'm drawing a blank on who it was now. Vin Diesel's the voice of the Iron Giant.
Correct.
And they were playing the Iron Giant audio over the pitch black scene, and it was...
That's great.
It was when they go in the cave, and he starts to move the rock and trap them in. And it's the audio from the Iron Giant where he says, I go, you stay.
Nice. Very nice. Hide behind a rock.
That's really hilarious for some reason.
Yes.
Okay. There are a couple of good scenes in Pitch Black. This movie's almost 2 hours, so I wouldn't call this a compliment by saying there's two scenes. There is one scene, it's the scene when they all come out.
Okay.
All the wing things, there's like 1,000 of them, and they all come out at once, and it's a pretty, big effects piece, whatever.
Okay.
And then there's the scene where the dude is like, basically already on the verge of death, and he stumbles into a cave, and it's completely dark, and all that. And he knows he's gonna bite it anyway. So I don't know why he does this. I guess to see. I don't know, because he's biting it anyway. But he does the thing where you take a drink of alcohol, and then you spit into fire, and it makes a giant light. But when he does that, he's in this cave, and there's like 100 of the wing things in there with him.
No,
and we only see it for that brief flash that the fire's there, and then he's gone. Yeah, there's just... And it starts to... I don't know why it is the length it is. It's like 1:50, I think. And they, you can tell they're just kind of trudging along to try to get that. I don't know why they felt the need to have a runtime like that. They could have done it in maybe a swift hour and a half and not had to just do things. Like, there's John's... which is Cole Adler's character, is trying to tell Rhoda Mitchell his plan. Because he let Riddick go, but there's a whole plan around it, but it makes no sense. I don't even remember what it was, and it keeps changing, and I don't know.
Fair enough.
And apparently, stay down is a very popular thing in this. Apparently, all you have to do to avoid... I mean, you're on this sun-scorched planet. All three movies bring up the sun-scorched planet. There's so many sun-scorched planets in the universe, apparently. And you're always in danger there. Apparently all you have to do is, like, stay down, and somehow these wind creatures will not kill you. Yes. And that's just the thing, they just keep saying, stay down, and like, oh man, we should have stayed down when somebody died.
So it's like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. They can't see you unless you move. Stay down. Wow. Interesting. Corey Graves must be a Riddick fan.
Yeah, worst of all, it's slow-paced.
I'm reading the synopsis here, and this is boring me just reading it.
So, yeah.
Very formulaic.
Like I said, it's a very popular movie, so I don't really need to go any further.
You forgot to mention Keith David.
Keith David actually comes back in the sequel, too. He is basically a,
Talk about the people who actually know out of this thing.
He's like a religious guy. Don't really remember the extent of his character. You know why? Because none of the characters don't mean anything. Oh yeah, there's the weird plot with the kid.
Yep.
Jack. Jack's... I don't know if Jack is a made-up name or what. There's a girl in Chronicles that might be Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Only she has a girl's name now. I don't know if it's really Jack or if it's like some replacement Jack because we're getting rid of that character. I don't know. I know the girl that played Jack in Pitch Black wanted to come back for Chronicles, but they cast the other girl instead. I guess Vin Diesel didn't think she was tough enough or something.
He would know.
Regardless, it turns out the only reason this twist exists is because, much like sharks, the winged creatures are attracted to blood, and Jack is on her period, and that's how they keep finding them.
I think of a Brick Tamlin when I think about something like that.
And
about the bears.
It's this random reveal too. It's like they're talking about, you know, what's attracting it, and he's like, it's her, and this when he calls Jack her is the first reveal of it, and it's people are fuck it, I'm done.
Well, it's funny because we call this a trilogy, and it is a live-action trilogy, but it's part of a 4-part series technically.
I know there's a video game and there's like an animated thing in between that like.
2004, there was an anime called Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Fury, and actually, she reprises the role of Jack in that after Alexa Davalos took it from her in Chronicles of Riddick. So, yeah, I'm reading all this stuff you're saying, so it's legit, folks.
Alright, so... Yeah, with my hating these movies on top of being tired and not remembering a lot of it,
this will be a fun review.
There's people who are in love with these movies that are probably like beating their monitors in right now.
Don't break your monitors. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and despite popular belief, I don't take suggestions, so shut up.
Yep. He could probably use that coffee right now, to be totally honest.
Oh god, that was hilarious.
It made me laugh.
Okay, anyway, that dude's getting pissed now. He's like, they're calling me out. I'm sorry. That's unprofessional.
Well, okay, I said a long time ago snarky comments will be deleted, and I do that.
We actually don't know, because you never know in the context of text.
Yeah.
Without a tone.
They might have been putting me over, I don't know.
They might have been, trying to be helpful, but in case you hadn't noticed, I'm sitting on a couch talking to a goddamn cell phone. I'm not trying to be professional by any means.
That's a way to put it.
I'm not one of these wannabe critics that speaks like I'm trying to get quoted on a DVD case. I'm just telling you what the fuck is going on.
Says AJ.
If you want some wannabe critic that's gonna speak in the terms you're used to hearing, there's a billion other people doing this on the internet.
But apparently there's enough people out there that like you, so...
Yeah, I'm doing this because you asked me to. I don't give a shit about popularity or hits or whatever.
I know
that. You just said review movies, and I said, alright, talking about movies to a cell phone for a couple of hours a week. Fine. I don't care.
Exactly.
So speaking of shit I don't care about, the next one in the lineup is the Chronicles of Riddick.
This is one I actually did see. Theatrically.
Yeah, I remember you. I remember you specifically calling it shittick the whole time it was at the movie theater.
Indeed.
For starters, Pitch Black was pretty gory.
Yeah.
And obviously R-rated. But they toned this one down to PG-13. Which makes no sense when how this new one goes back to Pitch Black levels, so...
It actually did not make its bank back. Its budget was between $105 and $120 million.
Why did you make this, Vin Diesel?
It only made $107 million. And there's also a number, $115 million. So either way, it didn't make its budget back.
Well, regardless, obviously Pitch Black ends with Roddy Mitchell gets killed, and he says, like, Keith David and Jack survive, and he says, tell them I'm dead. Then he goes off into the night.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in hiding for 5 years, and he's got I've been hiding superhero long hair beard thing.
Yeah.
Alright. So he's being chased by this bounty hunter who is this... You know what? We're not even going to go into him. Let's skip right to the fact that he tracks down Keith David. Who is... Well, okay. So, this is one of those movies where it decided to be... You thought Pitch Black was too long at 1:50.
Yeah.
Chronicles of Riddick wants to be 2 hours. And it's not ready to be. There's... You can tell in a lot of the dialogue, I don't understand why they feel the need to... Why just not put on the paper what comes to your head that's useful? Why do you feel the need to throw things on there to beef up its...
Runtime?
Yeah. Because, obviously, with no idea what else to have the characters say, we have, okay, Keith David was there, right? I don't remember if he was narrating or talking to Keith David, but, he goes through the whole Jack story all over again.
Okay.
He explains everything about, like, there was, I'm almost quoting here, too. There was this boy on RT, but he actually turned out to be a girl. And he's telling, who is, I don't know what he's, this is, oh yeah, also, on top of that, the narration actually starts with Judi Dench. I don't know why, but, and then, so basically that gives you that, okay, Judi Dench is the narrator. Because usually when you hear a narrator at the start of a movie, that generally tends to be your narrator, right? Well, Judi Dench narrates the opening, and then suddenly for the rest of the movie we got Riddick narrating to us.
Which carries on to the next one.
That's all he fucking does is narrate.
His voice fits narration very well.
Yeah, he's the Iron Giant, remember?
Exactly.
A
lot of names I recognize in this cast list.
Yeah, we'll get to them. My notes on this got really messy because I wrote so many of them.
I see some things like blurred out and stuff too. Did you draw something?
No, I fucked up. Oh yeah, I was saying repeated dialogue.
Okay.
He tells the whole Jack story again for no fucking reason.
So you don't even have to watch Pitch Black in order to understand anything.
Yeah. It's like as much as I like the movie, it's like what Kick-Ass 2 was guilty of.
Yeah.
Where they spent like the first 10 minutes like just mechanically laying down what happened in the first one like we don't know.
True.
Here's the thing. At the very start of Pitch Black, the first thing we hear is, you guessed it, Riddick narrating. And he's talking about cryosleep. And like what cryosleep does or something. Or like what it does to your head or something. For no reason, he takes us through his entire cryosleep narration from Pitch Black, word for word, in Chronicles as well.
What?
I don't know why. I don't even remember him being in cryosleep. He probably was when he said it, maybe. But regardless, it was the exact same dialogue. Speaking of the exact same dialogue, they also used the, this was really funny, actually, you're not scared of the dark, are you, line. He uses it in Pitch Black, and he uses it in Chronicles, and it's in the third movie's trailer, but I don't recall it in the movie.
I don't remember it being in the movie.
Well, he says it in the first two, though. And let me talk about that, because this is something that blows. This is when this movie starts trying to be cool.
Oh, no.
Fucking David Toohey is at it again. With the fucking blue tint he can't use anymore. So now he has, obviously, Riddick can only see in the dark.
Yeah.
That's why he wears the things all the time. So, he's in a room with all these dudes, and he says that you're not scared of the dark, are you, Lion? And then he uses his palms to put out the candles. And they start shooting at him, and he's fighting him. But of course, since it's completely dark, the only light we get is when they're firing their guns. So it's like a strobe light effect.
Oh, boy.
And you can't see a fucking thing that goes on in this fight, but you know there's a lot of movement, and there's music kicking in, and there's ass being kicked. You may not be able to see it, but as long as it's being kicked, it doesn't matter. It's awesome.
It's like watching Blade 2.
Blade 2 is awesome.
It is, but it's hard to see sometimes.
The plots. Sure, we'll talk about that, I guess. Whichever one you want to talk about. I'll talk about the Necromongers, I think they're called.
Yes.
They're basically these things, Linus Roach, a.k.a. Thomas Wayne from Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
No, strike that. He's a different thing. It's the other guy.
What's his name?
Shit.
Linus Roach. Okay, give me a second.
Well, forget it. The Necromongers, what they want to do is they basically want to convert and or kill all humans. Something about balancing out the earth or something.
You were right.
What?
Batman Begins.
Yeah, I think he's something different than the.
No.
He's a.
It says exactly what it says.
Okay. All right. Okay, I just like to say, if I don't come off like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, that's true. Because that's how all over the fucking place this movie is. Judi Dench. Judi Dench has read a lot of scripts in her time, right?
Yes.
Well, Vin Diesel really wanted Judi Dench for this movie. So much so that he begged her to do it and wouldn't go on casting anybody else in the movie until Judi Dench said yes.
Wow.
And then he, filled her room with, bouquets and shit when she said yes. And she said that she had a really good time making the movie. She said it was a good experience. I guess she liked the look of it. But apparently she wrote in her book about it, she confessed that the movie itself, she had absolutely no idea what the fuck was going on.
I can see that.
It's one of those movies that keeps changing its rules, too.
It's like The Core.
Yeah, there's this particular moment. Okay, here's what happens. Judi Dench, I don't know what the fuck she is. I don't know if she's the wind or what.
Arion.
Basically, she can just turn into wind and then fly away and then go into something. Literally just the wind, like a ghost almost.
Okay.
Do you know what they do with her towards the end when she's taken? They lock her in a dungeon. Fuck a lot of good that would do, but, apparently it worked.
You locked Wind in the dungeon. What?
Okay.
Not knowing.
Okay, see, this is the thing. I gave Pitch Black, I criticized Pitch Black for being redundant and boring.
Okay.
Despite being redundant and boring, Pitch Black was at least coherent.
Oh, boy.
You can't say the same for this movie. This is just... I don't know what the fuck is going on. And they don't feel the need to... Okay, sometimes they clue you in on too much, and a lot of the time they don't clue you in on anything. There's this particular moment towards the beginning where he first meets up with Keith David again. And Keith David appears to be holding something over his head. Because he keeps talking about her. That's all this person's called, is her. And apparently it's really, really heavy. It's one of those moments where Riddick will be walking away and you say her and he'll stop and turn around.
It's like he who shall not be named.
This could be Jack, who I think it does end up being. I don't remember.
I believe so.
It could be Rhoda Mitchell.
Yeah.
It could be somebody we don't fucking know yet.
Yes.
But they never say. It's just her all the time. and Riddick's reaction to her being said.
He just really doesn't like the potato chips.
No, he's just really, really anticipating Spike Jonze's new movie.
I was waiting for that reference.
It's also really, I'm trying to think of the word here. Overproduced?
I'll go with that.
There's a lot, I mean, I know it's nice to, like, have things happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot, like, if you see really clever movies, you'll see, like, things happening, and you'll see, like, stuff in the background you can spot. It's mainly in comedies, but it depends on the movie. You can see things in the background and stuff like that that's,
Yeah.
Everything is there for a reason. It's like a big attention to detail. There are these big shots in Riddick of a whole bunch of shit happening. And it's not really anything.
Ooh.
It's just a lot of shit happening, but not really. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
If you were to see the movie recently, you'd know what I'm talking about. I'll go into Carl Urban and Tandy Newton. They give Rada Mitchell a run for her money in the bad acting department. Their first scene especially, like it's this kind of things where they do this really cheap character establishment where, like, let's say you don't know that Carl Urban and Tandy Newton are married.
Okay.
I shit you not. They go out, they specifically, and with a lot of emphasis, call each other husband and wife.
Oh my god.
Or something like that.
And even if it's not, I still want to go with that.
Okay, but here's the problem. I had an epiphany while watching the Chronicles of Riddick, and what hit me that's wrong about these movies is, these movies would be perfect campy movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, if these movies just were just balls out, I can't think of another phrase, just
Played
balls
too
out.
seriously.
They take, like, especially Pitch Black is kind of seen as more of something what I'm talking about, but I think they're both not pushed enough to where they can be enjoyed that way.
Mm-hmm.
They try to be too much, and they try to be like, well, here's the okay. Before you get pissy and say, what are movies doing if they're not trying? What I mean is, this movie is trying hard to be something that it was never gonna be.
Okay.
And it's really futile to try to actually be that, because it's just, in a different execution, like if maybe, I'm sure the story could be taken seriously if done the right way.
Yeah.
The key being, if done the right way.
Obviously, you got the wrong director and writer for that one.
Remember when I said there was a couple of scenes in Pitch Black that were effective?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Wow.
I don't have a single fucking thing here. So, yeah. For the longest time, I call it one of the worst movies I've ever seen. This came out in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
That was 9 years ago. I've seen a lot worse movies since then.
Yes, you have.
So it's not one of, I wouldn't call it one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I can't think of a single thing I liked about it.
No, there's nothing. There's no redeeming quality with it at all.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure it's got its massive fan base somewhere. I don't know these people personally, but
No.
I'm sure somewhere deep in the depths of God knows what, there are massive fans of this movie that know all of its ins and outs, plus all the shit that nobody cares to know.
Like Pulp Fiction, and I know Moulin Rouge.
And this will come off as mind-blowing to them, but the big problem with this movie is half the time you don't know what the fuck is even going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could really take the time to figure that out. Like, if I don't... if I don't feel like I fully grasp the movie, I can watch it over and over again, and when I finally get a full grasp on it, I can appreciate what it is.
Yeah.
Trouble is, there's something in those movies that I do watch over and over again to try to understand them that makes me want to watch them over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I have absolutely no desire whatsoever to understand what this movie was doing. I would have liked to have known at least a little bit, while I was watching it, but it was just...
all over the place.
It was just bad enough to where, now that it's over, and I don't have to see it ever again, I don't care to understand what was going on.
Makes sense.
I would have liked to have known while watching it, but now that it's over, I don't care anymore.
And once this video is over, you probably won't ever talk about it again either.
Alright, so we can finally go on to the main attraction, which is weird. It's weird to end on the only movie we saw in theaters, but it's a different case. This last one, they got really creative with the title. It was like, I hate to compare these two trilogies because they're so... one's at one level, one's at the opposite level, but it's a lot like the laziness of Nolan's Batman trilogy. You have Batman Begins, you have The Dark Knight, and you have The Dark Knight Rises. You have Pitch Black, you have The Chronicles of Riddick, and... Riddick. Let's just not bother. It had another... the script has another title. I don't remember what it is now. But anyway...
Dead Man Stalking.
Yeah, that was it.
That's bad. That's really bad.
Well, anyway, at least it would have been, like, 3 different things.
Yeah.
When Vin Diesel was on Kimmel, he was talking about the first third of the movie pretty much just being him. It's basically Vin Diesel in the Book of Eli.
Yeah.
It's the Book of Riddick.
It really is. There's a lot of Book of Eli.
He compared it. I was actually quite interested because it's clear that they were ambitious because Vin Diesel's comparison was to Jeremiah Johnson, that Robert Redford movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, that's... you guys are really trying for something. It's like, well, when that happened with Chronicles, I don't know, but I figure, maybe in time they had just kind of matured. Apparently, David Twohy wrote all of these at the same time, so I can't necessarily say maybe he matured as a writer over time. Which is a bummer. Once again, I don't know how Perfect Getaway happened. Maybe somebody ghost wrote it for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, basically, it's true. Basically, the first half hour or so, or maybe longer, is just him walking around, and he's just killing things, and he befriends this... for argument's sake, we'll say it's a dog, but it's not quite a dog. It's like a...
They called it a dingo dog. It kind of looks like it's got, like, feline stripes, and it kind of looks like a wolf or a dog or a...
Well, he's basically trying to, I don't know what the point of this was, but he was basically saying about how he got civilized. Because when the Chronicles ends, he's like the leader of like the Nevermongers or something.
Yeah.
That's killed in the first 5 minutes. We get a little bit of Carl Urban there for like 30 seconds to explain away that, so we can move on to killing more creatures, because that's what it's all about. This one is basically, if you're expecting something different out of this movie, Riddick, more or less, is just a really loose remake of Pitch Black.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it is. Just with a different crew and if you want to call it that, a different story. Kind of. You have a somewhat villain that's, Johnny Tapia from Bad Boys 2. I know his name, I can see his name in my head, but I'm afraid to say it because I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong. I don't know how to pronounce it for sure.
I know what's his character name, and I'll be able to try to help with this.
Santana, he was second credited.
Oh, Jordi Mala.
That's what I say in my head, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I'm almost positive that's wrong. Especially since there's an accent mark over the A.
It would help if I knew how to pronounce it. Mola.
Something. We'll go with something.
Jordi Mola. We'll go with that. No disrespect.
He might be like Spanish or something, so it's probably a sound when you say his first name, but what? Johnny Tapia from Bad Boys 2. That's literally what most people know him for.
He is Spanish, you are correct. He is the Cruz of Spain. I don't understand where that comes from, but okay.
So, and guess what? We're on a sun-scorched planet again. So they did, so they meet up with this crew. There's, there's Santana, there is Katie Sackhoff, I think is how you say her name.
Yeah.
There is Bakeem Woodbine. There is, I don't know, John's character from Pitch Black, Cole Hauser, apparently has a dad.
Yep.
I don't know that actor's name.
Matt Nable.
Right.
Batista.
Yeah, of course.
Diaz.
And that other guy. So...
Raul Trillo. Loxper.
Okay, let's talk about the crew for a second. Bakeem Woodbine does what he always does. He's there to hang out with the crew until he's killed.
Yeah.
He only had sufficient parts in movies like Life and... While we're on the topic, we'll throw in his 20-second tour de force cameo at the very end of The Host for some reason.
Yeah.
He was good, and he died again, but he was good in the Total Recall remake, actually.
He was in Devil and Black Dynamite.
Yeah, that's right.
Black Dynamite was awesome.
Okay, something about Matt Nable, you said was Johnson's name?
Correct.
Something about that guy bothered me to the point that I could not get it out of my head, and it was so fucking distracting. I thought about it every single time he was on screen.
Go ahead.
Did Christian Slater dub him? Or do they have the exact same voice?
To me, he came off looking like, that's it. That's the part of it I was looking for. He is Jeremy Renner's face with Christian Slater's voice.
But that actually distracted me so much the entire movie. It's like, is he doing that on purpose, or is that his voice for real?
Oh, no wonder I don't like this guy. He was in one of the worst movies I saw in 2011. Killer Elite.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Alright, let's talk about...
He's a former rugby footballer. That's where he came from.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's talk about Katie Sackhoff. I assume that's how you say her name. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Sackhoff.
Yeah.
Alright. This character is probably one of the most embarrassing characters I've seen in a movie this year.
Yeah.
Let's break this down, like Michael Keaton would. Got the RoboCop trailer.
Yeah, we saw him today.
Might as well bring up Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
And for later.
Yes. Maybe.
Okay, here's the thing. Action movies tend to get really bad about this tough woman cliche. Now, don't jump all over me. Let me say this. Tough women can exist in movies.
Yes.
They can. The problem with tough women in action movies is when you have the guy standing around to basically mug to the camera when she does something to say, "Oh my God, she can't be that tough. She's a woman." Apparently, every single guy in an action movie has no idea that women could possibly be capable of something.
Yeah.
Tough or manly, whatever you want to say. And then she basically breaks it to them that she's a lesbian. And I wrote the line down.
Yep.
They're basically trying to get her to fuck them or something. And she says, "I don't fuck guys. I might fuck them up." Or something like that. basically revealing that she's lesbian, despite the fact that she spends the whole movie talking about how she's probably gonna fuck Riddick.
Should have gotten a response in the theater. Crickets.
This... Oh my god.
You saw her earlier this year, actually. You reviewed another movie she did earlier this year. Haunting in Connecticut 2.
The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghosts of Georgia, which
Yes.
whose title makes about as much sense as these Riddick movies. Alright.
She was on Battlestar Galactica. That's the reason why people know who she is.
And she's basically there to, basically give off the lines that, she says something to a guy and we're supposed to say, like, oh snap, that guy got served by a bitch!
She's a third-rate Gina Carano. And I'm not even a fan of hers.
They want us... Okay, here's the thing. Society is trying to get us to be less sexist.
Yes.
But apparently, there's a big chunk of Hollywood that wants us to remain sexist because we have to be sexist to find these things funny.
Yeah.
And they clearly want us to find these things funny. Oh yeah, I also forgot to bring this up. I was going to mention it. Santana is basically Tommy Wiseau by way of Gerard Butler.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes. I was trying to figure out who it was, and it was somebody coming to my mind, and I was like, yeah.
This is... Oh, hi, Mark.
That's for you, Juliet.
Okay, anyway. Apparently there were a lot of complaints, and I guess I can kind of see them. I don't care otherwise. But, we get a whole 1/3 of the movie of Riddick by himself. And I think the main reason for that is because we don't get much Riddick after that.
No.
We focus mainly on this team.
On the Nostromo cast.
I'm gonna go ahead and issue a kind of spoiler.
I was wondering if you were going to go into spoilers.
It's pretty much already been spoiled for you, but I'm basically confirming that it's been spoiled for you. So if you want to avoid that, bye. I gave this movie's trailer the benefit of the doubt, which I shouldn't have. So apparently Santana's the villain.
Yeah.
Basically. He's, I'm going to call Riddick said I'm going to put in a box. They say that like a billion times.
They even show you the box.
Well, here's the thing. It kind of reminded me of the ball cutting scene in Planet Terror.
Yeah.
The way they had a special container for it. Well, here's the thing. And the guy is second credited. Right under Vin Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
So, alright. And he's a big name, like, not necessarily in America, but in other places. He's a fairly popular name. Well, there's the scene in the trailer, obviously, where they're all on the ship. I assumed while watching the trailer this would have been the beginning. So here's what happened. The scuffle happens, and it looks like a machete. That's what we're gonna call it.
That's what it looked like to me.
He kicks it into the ceiling, and it comes back down, and he kicks it, and it goes towards Santana's head, and of course, the trailer cuts it off, and of course, Batista says the line,
we should cut him down.
We should cut him loose, yeah.
Cut him loose.
Well, of course, I said, well, he looks like he's going to be a pretty important character. And then I learned he was supposed to be the villain, and then the beginning credits came when he was second credited, and I was like, alright, I got this. Obviously, the trailer's a tease. He's going to kick the machete, and it's going to fly towards his face, and it's going to, like, hit the wall beside him or something and freak him out.
Nope.
Lo and behold, that scene is in the trailer, and that's his death. Right through his fucking head. So, and it's towards the end, too.
And that insult to injury, the box that he was talking about, it falls right in there.
Wouldn't you know it?
Of course, I knew it was going to happen. Sure.
So, moral of the story is I don't like these movies.
Can we talk about Batista, please? I don't know if you've seen more movies that he's been in than I have.
I saw Man with the Iron Fist.
That's more than I've seen.
That's it.
That's enough.
My Uncle Mike used to work out in the same gym as him.
Interesting.
That's all I got.
He's so wooden in this movie.
He's a wrestler. What do you expect?
Wrestling fans that...
Dwayne Johnson notwithstanding.
No, wrestling fans know what I'm talking about here. He basically has the acting ability of Randy Orton in this movie. He's so wooden, it's not even funny. They gave him some really bad lines, too.
Everybody has bad lines.
Yeah, this script is terrible.
They're all terrible. All three of those scripts are just fucked up.
Yeah, agreed.
So, it's funny. I probably spent the least time on the main attraction movie, but that's all the movie is. It's
a rehash of the original.
Yeah, it's Riddick doing his Book of Eli thing, just killing things. Then we meet the crew. Then they're offed, and there's a finale.
It's a typical sci-fi horror movie.
The end.
So the question is, who would you recommend this to, if anyone?
The people who defend Pitch Black and call it a cult movie and say it's overlooked and underseen and all that shit.
Unlike you, I was out from the minute I saw this trailer. I just didn't like how it looked.
You were asleep for like an hour of the movie, too.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it. I probably didn't miss very much at all.
Yeah, it probably kept feeling you're waking up to the same thing.
I really did.
You fell asleep. An hour later, you woke up. You thought nothing had happened. you thought only a second had passed.
But for some reason, I missed I did not miss the very crucial bits of nudity that were in the movie that were thrown in for everybody.
I mean, there's random girls with Riddick and then
Sackhoff in the mirror. That scene made no sense. There was no point for it.
It's because, you know, okay, here's the thing. They want you to think she's all tough and shit, but they also want to use her for what apparently Hollywood thinks ladies are used for.
Oh, God.
You're just used for tits and to impress the dudes by doing dude things.
Yeah.
The only thing she didn't do in this movie was chug a beer.
Yeah, there was no alcohol in this movie. It's very strange.
She would have.
I'm sure it probably would have happened.
It's
So
almost as bad as I love the movie and I love her in it, but I can't fucking stand that scene in Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
When Jennifer Lawrence goes off on De Niro. But even though a lot of people say that's what sealed her Oscar, but I just fucking hate that. The only time, humbly enough, the only time it didn't bother me was the dancing scene in Titanic.
I like that.
I don't know.
So yeah, how do you feel knowing you don't ever have to talk or think about these movies ever again after today?
Supposedly, Toei wrote 3 scripts after Pitch Black, so if they somehow get enough money made and Vin Diesel makes enough Fast and Furious movies, apparently, sounds like we at least have one more.
Well, the ending kind of leaves it open-ended, really.
Every movie nowadays ends open-ended.
I know. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm just saying that's how it works. Well, either way, next week's review, we're actually going to be talking about, movies. Not movies that are in theaters. Next week will be very interesting because we're actually going to throw you out a couple of things. There's going to be reviews that are going to be done on Friday, like we normally film, like today. And then there's actually going to be reviews that are going to be filmed before I leave. So, that's going to be good. And we're actually getting access to a lot of really interesting movies that are coming our way via Athens. Austin Land is coming, and Ain't Them Body Saints and The Spectacular Now will all be something we'll be able to watch by the end of next week. So any parting words for the Riddick fans out there, AJ?
I don't know whether to praise them or insult them, actually.
Like we always say, if you guys don't like these movies, don't go see them. Enough people don't go see them. Enough word of mouth will kill the franchise.
I don't like being that guy that insults people for liking movies. So more power to if you like these movies. And
if you like it, that's cool. But it's your opinion. It's our opinion. So there you go.
You must really, 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 really love these movies if you fully understand them, though. And I don't mean that in a complimentary way to the movies either.
Very true. So, with that being said,